Hello everyone, this is ACHAI Akaya, and we're going to take a look at a 1v1 on Lost Temple, and this is featuring another member of Team PPG, ppgBlossom, not to be confused with ppgBubbles, who of course we have seen a couple games from already. Very solid player, but this is a Terran player on Team PPG. Pretty solid up-and-comer. I would expect to see some pretty big things from this particular player going forward, so definitely keep an eye out for them, but he is going to be playing against Protoss Forbs, and he is spawning as the blue Protoss at the 12 o'clock position. So close spawn points as far as by ground goes. So we may see some pretty early aggression from this game. We'll have to see how the scouting patterns go for each of the players here. And one probe already moving out for our Protoss player here, Forbs, and it looks like he actually is going to be, oh my goodness, I can't tell if he's going through the, he's going to go to the Xel'Naga Watchtower first, and then it looks like he actually is going to go ahead and go to the base of ppgBlossom first. So he is going to get that early scouting intelligence, and it looks like Blossom already putting down that first supply depot right around the typical timing here, so we should be seeing a barracks going up shortly after that. I'm not sure if he's going to try to wall off. Most likely not. Yeah, the barracks going in right there, and the probe already getting in there trying to do some harassment, but immediately Blossom, of course, coming out to defend against that and prevent him from getting that SCV that's trying to build a barracks. Back in the base of Forbs, we do see the first gateway going down here. So nothing crazy cheesy as of right now. It looks like both players going to be playing pretty standard at this point in time, and oh my goodness. I apologize for my voice. I've been sick like all week, and I've just now gotten over it, but my throat is still catching up, so I apologize if I sound absolutely horrible at a few points during this cast. But yeah, I also did want to say that I have not put up much recently, the past week and a half or so, week and a half I think it's been, because I've actually been really busy, not only with trying to work with Team PPG, but also with, as I mentioned a little bit ago, I've actually been sick, so time has been a little bit scarce, but hopefully I'll be able to bring you more games in the near future, and I am also hoping to bring you a lot more of these PPG games, because some of them have turned out to be quite fun. This is actually a ladder game. This isn't from a tournament or anything like that, so there's no tournament background to go with it. It's just a ppgBlossom game from the ladder that he submitted because he thought it was interesting. So we're going to go ahead and cast it and take a look at it here. But getting back into the action here, it looks like there is a cybernetics core going down and chrono boosting out that first zealot, which is kind of strange. I'm not sure why he didn't chrono boost out a stalker to get rid of that scout, although it looks like the SCV scout from Blossom already leaving the base, and there is a marine coming out here, and I'm not sure if he's actually, yeah, it looks like he is going to go ahead and try to take that Xel'Naga Watchtower, and if he can get the probe there, that'll actually be pretty good. But it looks like the probe has not moved out in time, and he may be able to get this, microing that marine, but no, the probe does get away. So unfortunately, the probe lives, but ppgBlossom is going to maintain control of that Xel'Naga Watchtower should he choose, but apparently he is not going to choose to do so right now. One Marauder out as well, and actually we may see a timing push. I've seen Blossom do this opening timing push that is actually pretty scary sometimes, where he gets one or two SCVs along with a couple of Marauders and a Marine. And it can actually be pretty lethal, and we see the second Marauder coming out right now, and here's an SCV, so yeah, it looks like he is going to do that timing push, so we'll see if he's actually able to do some damage with this. This can be very deadly. If you look at the timing right now on the Protoss base, he only has a sentry and a stalker, or I'm sorry, a sentry and a zealot, and a stalker is coming out right now, but his second gateway not even finished yet, and of course the warp gate technology not even close to being done, so if these units are controlled properly, he can do a serious amount of damage, especially if he continues to reinforce this attack. So here comes the SCV up in the front scouting so that he can do the damage, and the SCV unfortunately gets force fielded up there, and that force field is going to keep the rest of those Terran units on the low ground, which means that this attack is no longer going to be viable, because by the time that wears off, he will be prepared to deal with it now that he is aware that it is coming. And that SCV actually soaks up a surprising amount of damage if you can get up the ramp before that force field comes, but as you saw, the SCV getting force fielded up there, and even with the vision from the SCV for a short period of time, he was not able to do a significant amount of damage. So it looks like we are going to move into a little bit of mid-game here, and a third gateway going down for a Protoss player and a Robo Bay. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and see 3-gate Robo from Forbs, the blue Protoss player, and he is chrono boosting out that last little bit of warp gate technology, and as soon as these units finish, we are going to see these gateways all transfer into warp gates. Meanwhile, back in the base of Blossom, he's putting up a defensive bunker here, and he's trying to get that command center up and running for his expansion. It looks like it is getting pretty close to being done here, and also throwing out another barracks. So going to be going pretty infantry heavy on this build, it looks like, not even getting his second gas yet, and going for that early expand. So very economically minded and getting that early expansion up and running is going to be very good for him if he can hold on to it, which from what we can see right now, the Protoss player does not have a huge army, but if he continues to warp in consistently with these 3 warp gates, and we can see there's an Immortal coming out. Immortal's very good against the Marauders, of course. If he can get out a decent number of units from these warp gates and the Marauders, then he might be able to do some damage. And we do see that there are some units moving out from Forbs here, going ahead and checking the natural. They're making sure there's no bunkers, preventing him from expanding down the road, and not even able to scout that. And it looks like rather than putting pressure on, he is going to go ahead and put the expansion up. Meanwhile, though, Blossom already has his expansion up and running. So there is not full saturation yet, but of course, having that command center already done and warping it in, or rather morphing it into a orbital command before the Nexus is even halfway done for the Protoss player is a pretty big deal. So getting that early economic advantage is definitely nice to have, and it looks like Forbes is going to go ahead and scout that out with his observer. That observer is going to go ahead and park right over the expansion here so we can keep an eye on how saturated the base is at this natural, and of course when he decides to get those extra gases. And as of right now, he has only seen infantry units from our Terran player, so he is very aware of what kind of build he's going right now, and we still do not see a factory from our Terran player either. So once again, continuing to stick with just infantry, and we'll see exactly when he decides to tech out of the infantry phase here, because getting some medevacs or tanks mixed in with that infantry base can be very, very strong, especially against these gateway units, because there are a lot of Zealot sentries and stalkers here. Only 1 Immortal currently in the mix, and it looks like he is not going to be producing anything else from the robotics facility, at least not now, but there is a robotics bay on the way. And of course we can see that he is getting the double gas out at his natural. So it looks like he is going to tech pretty heavily into that robotics bay tech in order to get those Colossus out. We'll most likely be getting that range upgrade, so of course we will need to see our Terran player teching up here soon. And it looks like he is getting the factory. He will definitely need a starport in order to get some Vikings out to stop those Colossus. Taking on Colossus with a supporting ground army from gateway units can be very, very difficult to do. And actually, yeah, it looks like he is going to go ahead and get a reactor on that factory and throwing down a starport. So I would imagine that once the starport is finished, he's going to go ahead and switch these 2 buildings so he can get the reactor add-on on that. So we'll see if that's what he does, and of course that is going to be absolutely crucial, as I mentioned, for dealing with those Colossus. But it looks like the Protoss player Forbes is on the move here, and he may actually try to put some pressure on taking possession of the Zelnagel